The T-35 was a unique and ambitious Soviet multi-turreted heavy tank that saw limited production and deployment during the interwar period and early stages of World War II. Its design reflected a transitional era in tank development, where the need for a powerful breakthrough vehicle was combined with a multi-turreted approach that would soon prove to be outdated. The T-35's history is marked by its distinctive design, its limited battlefield impact, and its symbolic role within the Red Army's early tank forces. Origins and development. The origins of the T-35 date back to the early 1930s, a period marked by rapid innovation in armored warfare. Soviet military theorists, influenced by developments in tank warfare from World War I and the interwar period, believed in the need for large, heavily armed tanks to break through enemy fortifications. This concept, often referred to as a breakthrough tank, led to the development of several experimental designs that sought to combine heavy armor, firepower, and mobility. Inspired by international designs such as the British Vickers A1E1 Independent, which featured multiple turrets, the Soviet Union embarked on the creation of a multi-turreted tank capable of overwhelming enemy defenses. The T-35 was designed by the Okemo Design Bureau, part of the Bolshevik factory in Leningrad. Early prototypes were built between 1932 and 1933, and the design was finalized in 1934. Design characteristics. The T-35 was distinctive for its sheer size and complexity. Weighing around 45 tons, it was nearly 10 meters long, 3.2 meters wide, and stood 3.4 meters tall. The vehicle was powered by a McEwen M17M V12 gasoline engine producing 500 horsepower, which provided a top speed of only 30 km/h, about 18 mph, on roads. It had a crew of 10 to 11 men, including a driver, commander, gunners, and loaders. The tank's defining feature was its 5 turrets, arranged in a staggered pattern. The main turret was armed with a 76.2mm KT-28 gun, capable of firing both high-explosive and armor-piercing rounds, making it suitable for engaging both soft targets and armored vehicles. This main turret was flanked by 2 medium turrets, each equipped with a 45mm 20K anti-tank gun, and 2 smaller turrets armed with 7.62mm DT machine guns. This configuration theoretically allowed the T-35 to engage multiple targets simultaneously, providing overwhelming firepower in all directions. However, the multi-turret design led to significant issues. The complexity of coordinating multiple weapon systems created challenges for the crew, and the arrangement of turrets made it difficult for the commander to maintain situational awareness. Additionally, the weight and size of the tank, combined with the strain of operating 5 turrets, resulted in mechanical unreliability and limited maneuverability. Production and deployment. Production of the T-35 was limited, with only around 61 tanks built between 1935 and 1939. The high cost of production, complexity of the design, and inherent mechanical weaknesses made it impractical for mass production. Most of these tanks were assigned to the Red Army's elite mechanized units, where they were used primarily for training and parades. The T-35 was frequently seen during Soviet military parades, where its massive, imposing silhouette made it a symbol of Soviet military might. Despite its impressive appearance, the T-35 was already becoming obsolete by the time of its deployment. The development of more modern, single-turret tanks, such as the T-34 medium tank and the KV series of heavy tanks, highlighted the limitations of the T-35's multi-turret configuration. As military doctrine evolved, focusing on mobility, firepower, and armor protection rather than sheer size and multiplicity of armament, the T-35's role diminished. Combat history. The T-35's combat history was brief and largely disappointing. The majority of these tanks were deployed with the 5th Independent Heavy Tank Brigade and the 67th and 68th Tank Regiments. They first saw action during the Soviet invasion of Poland in 1939, though the T-35s were plagued by mechanical failures and did not encounter significant combat. The T-35's most notable combat experience came during the initial stages of Operation Barbarossa, the German invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941. Deployed as part of the Soviet Mechanized Corps defending the western borders, the T-35s faced overwhelming German armored units equipped with superior tactics and better-suited vehicles. The mechanical fragility of the T-35 was exposed during the chaotic retreat of Soviet forces, with many tanks breaking down or being abandoned due to engine and transmission failures before they could even engage the enemy. Of the few that saw action, most were destroyed by either enemy fire or by their crews to prevent capture. Legacy and impact. The T-35's legacy is a complex one. As a military vehicle, it was a failure, too slow, unreliable, and cumbersome for modern warfare. Its complex design made it difficult to produce and maintain, and it was quickly surpassed by more effective designs, like the T-34 and KV-1. However, the T-35 played a symbolic role in the early years of Soviet armored warfare. It represented the Red Army's ambition to field powerful, innovative tanks and showcased the Soviet Union's industrial capacity to build massive armored vehicles. In many ways, the T-35 was a product of its time, reflecting the interwar experimentation with multi-turreted tanks that occurred in several countries. Ultimately, the lessons learned from the T-35's failures contributed to the Soviet emphasis on simpler, more robust designs that would go on to dominate World War II battlefields. Today, only a single surviving T-35 tank remains, preserved at the Kubinka Tank Museum outside Moscow. It stands as a reminder of an era of tank design characterized by bold experimentation and rapid technological change, a testament to the ambitions and challenges faced by the early Soviet tank program.